Early in the life of House for All Sinners and Saints, we began a tradition of making saint cookies on All Saints Sunday. I had scoured the internet for old or weird practices we could borrow, and I'm certain I read something that described how in Finland or someplace like that, people made saint cookies, little gingerbread men and women who get handed out as part of the All Saints Sunday celebration. I swear that's what I remember. So when we were baking up our church from scratch, a few folks gathered in my kitchen to bake up some gingerbread men and women from scratch, thinking it was a thing. At one point, I realized that what our little brown saint cookies really needed were halos, obviously. So we painted shiny yellow glaze around the top of each round-headed gingerbread man and woman, which made them look not so much holy as blonde. "How about these?" Victoria asked when she arrived, holding up 2 extra-large cookie cutters. She's always been slightly mischievous for a social worker. I think it's the red hair. "The saint cookies for my saints need to be special," she offered. So before the evening was over, Victoria was proudly showing off 2 special saint cookies that stood inches above their fellows. One, a woman, had flames of red and yellow licking up her skirt, accompanied by big eyes and an open mouth that looked borrowed from Mr. Bill. Joan of Arc, I guessed correctly. Next to Joan was a fellow saint, but this one looked like he was wearing a belted, one-shoulder caveman outfit, and he was missing his head. Martyred Fred Flintstone, I guessed incorrectly. John the Baptist, she said proudly. Of course. Victoria volunteered to bring the basket of completed saint cookies to hand out after liturgy the next day. Not surprisingly, they proved to be a great way to bring some levity to what was to be an otherwise heavy liturgy. What we now know is that saint cookies are not a tradition anywhere but House for All Sinners and Saints. At least, nowhere I could find when I went back to the internet later. Apparently, I just dreamed that shit up. Victoria's basket of saint cookies sat on the edge of a long series of draped white tables that lined the wall. Each table was dotted with candles, marigolds, and various remembrances of the dead. The worn, soft denim overalls of someone's granddaddy who was a farmer. An icon of Mary Magdalene. An icon of Cesar Chavez. A photo of a group of friends from the 80s. A child's blanket. A shrine that my parishioner Amy Clifford had made for Vincent van Gogh, a small painted box that stood on end, his self-portrait glued to the inside, and ears, one of which was missing a piece, glued to the sides. Apart from those who have fallen in combat, Americans tend to forget our ancestors, and we spend as little time as possible publicly mourning them. But in the church, we do the very odd thing of proclaiming that the dead are still a part of us, a part of our lives, and are even an animating presence in the church. St. Paul describes the saints as a great cloud of witnesses. So when they have passed, we still hold them up, hoping perhaps that their virtues, their ability to have faith in God in the face of an oppressive empire or a failing crop or a blight of cancer, might become our own virtue, our own strength. As I surveyed the basket of saint cookies sitting next to the lovingly arranged photos, shrines, and names simply written on index cards, I was thinking how amazing it is that there's a holy day when we honor those who have gone before. And then I saw her name. I winced even though I was the one who had hesitantly written it. Alma White. A couple of months earlier, I'd been walking down Sherman Street in Denver with my parishioner Amy Clifford, an artsy, thoughtful, passionate woman who had been by my side helping to build our church. On our walk that day, we noticed a sizable memorial of sorts in the courtyard of a large, weird-looking church across the street from the Colorado Capitol building. The roof of the Pillar of Fire Church is crowned with enormous pink call letters, KPOF, that light up at night, making it look like what it is, a Pentecostal church that doubles as a radio station. We squinted to read the inscription on the memorial, Alma White, founder of the Pillar of Fire Church, 1901. Turning to Amy, I said, Alma? That's a woman's name, isn't it? Did a woman plant a church in Denver in 1901? I didn't know of many women who had set out to start churches all by themselves, much less at the turn of the 20th century, so desperate as I was for someone I could place in the category hero and role model, since I too was setting out to be a female pastor of a new church in Denver, I pulled out my phone and Googled Alma White. My excitement about discovering a hero only built as I read her Wikipedia entry. Alma Bridwell White, June 16, 1862 to June 26, 1946, was the founder and a bishop of the Pillar of Fire Church. Oh my gosh, it's true. I went on to read that in 1918, she became the first female bishop in the United States. She was noted for her feminism, yes, and her association with, wait for it, the Ku Klux Klan, and her anti-Catholicism, anti-Semitism, anti-Pentecostalism, racism, and hostility to immigrants. The next day, I called my Episcopal friend Sarah to tell her the story of how I thought I had a hero, only to find out she was just a lousy racist. Sarah's response, honey, email me her name. I'll add her to the litany of saints along with all the other broken people of God. I didn't want Alma White's name on the litany of saints. Having her name lying on the table, illuminated by the nearby Paschal candle alongside the names of St. Francis and Cesar Chavez, felt wrong. I want racists to stay in the racist box. When they start sneaking into the saint box, it makes me nervous. But that's how it works. On All Saints Sunday, I am faced with sticky ambiguities around saints who were bad and sinners who were good.